Ready?
Yep.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh! What's up, everybody? This is Alex Kelly back here with another episode of the Furloughed Film Talks podcast here on a Saturday with my brother Ryan.
What's up, everybody?
How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We are a little sweaty. We just got finished playing pickleball of all things, but we are excited to be here to talk about and react to quite a lot. We have a jam-packed episode today, Ryan.
Yeah.
We do, yeah.
Tons of shit to talk about.
But first, we gotta talk about what we're gonna be doing tomorrow. What's going on tomorrow, Ryan?
The 93rd edition of the Oscars.
Yes, the 93rd. You can actually see it in the shot almost because it's
bit.
so big. We are gonna
That's
be
what she
watching. Wow. We're gonna be watching the Oscars with our bottle from Piper Heidsieck. We still didn't look up the name of this, even though this is the second time we've done this today.
Yeah. Heidsieck.
They are the official champagne of the Oscars.
Yeah, you got to turn it on too.
Yeah,
Is it on?
their bottle lights up.
You probably can't tell.
You can tell a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Looks pretty dope in the dark.
Yeah, they were super nice to send us a bottle of the champagne that is going to be the official champagne of the Oscars. So hopefully, if Elvira wins tomorrow night, we will definitely pop this open. Sometime after that, I will pop this open. But I'm very excited for the Oscars. Thank you to them for sending us to that. Go check out their social medias.
Yeah, maybe if she wins, we can take it on the balcony and pop it open and spray it everywhere.
Oh, if that happens, we're putting that on Instagram Live.
Okay.
For sure. That'll definitely happen. So be checking that out tomorrow. Put that out of the shot. But we have our social medias, which is Instagram at Furloughed Film Talks and on Twitter at Furloughed Film. Follow along there for the latest info. And tell 3 of your friends about the show. But Ryan, we're going to be talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale today.
Yep.
As well as the Mortal Kombat movie that came out yesterday. But first, we got to talk about something that we have not touched on in depth, at length.
Okay.
Really on this show, we've talked about it a little bit because Ryan is a big fan of it. It is on Apple TV Plus. It had its finale yesterday as well.
Yeah.
And it was long.
Dope as fuck,
but
too.
Amazing.
It was insane.
We are talking, of course, about For All Mankind.
Apple TV's alternate space history TV show.
So kind of give a setup of what this show's really about. Because it's about that. It's the alternate timeline of how we got to space, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of... The story is that we never left the moon and the space program never stopped progressing.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, sure we built the International Space Station and but after we left the moon, some would argue that our space program kind of regressed all the way to the point where we couldn't even launch Americans into space.
Yeah.
Up until last year or maybe even this year.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I think it was last year when we got our... Might have been this year. I don't know. But, in any case, this show was about, season 1 was... We established, the first base on the moon. And then season 2 was... I think it even started with, it started with just, landing people on the moon. And then, eventually, we got to the point where we had a base on the moon. And then season 2 was, we have a huge, almost
a full-on operation up there.
Yeah, almost like a colony on the moon.
Yeah.
And it takes place in the setting of the Cold War. Season 1 was mid-70s, and then season 2 takes place in early to mid-80s. So this all takes place in the context of the Cold War, and of course, Russians and the Soviet Union are very much involved and are adversaries because they also have a base on the moon.
Yeah.
There's a lot of back and forth there. So
that's the premise for the show, and this is probably not the best thing for somebody who's I want to be taken seriously. I have not watched all of For All Mankind. I've popped in and watched some of the episodes with you, and it's great. It's
always amazing.
It's always a great show. And last night was the finale of it, and I'd seen a couple of the episodes in season 2, and I think kind of the mark of a good show is even if you kind of pop in and out, you can still kind of follow along with what's going on. You're not missing a ton of information. And with this, you are in the midst of America trying to dock with like the Russians. You have the Russians inside the base, like they've like taken somebody hostage because somebody from the Russian side has like defected to the U.S.
Yes.
And so you just...
So like major spoilers. If you haven't seen any of For All Mankind, maybe check out here. If you do, because like I would highly suggest you watch it.
It's so good,
but
dude.
So there's so much going on in this last episode, right? Like in episode 8 and 9, like the Americans and the Russians, like they both armed the moon. So the Americans took like guns to the moon, and there's like this whole squabble over this mining site on the moon.
Yes.
And the Russians like took it over for a minute, and then the Americans sent Marines, and they took the mining operation back. And then there's this conflict where like the Americans shot a couple of Russians and killed one, and then another one was injured, so they had to take the injured Russian back to the base. And when he finally woke up from his injuries, he was like, "Hey guys, I'm defecting.
I don't want to go back.
Yeah, please
don't make me go back."
And so, like the end of episode 9, which is the second last episode, the Russians storm the American base and basically like take over the command module of the base.
Yeah.
So then you go into episode 10 where you have that going on, and command in Houston doesn't know what's happening because obviously they took out the communications post of the base.
Yeah.
You also have the Russians blockading the moon with their space shuttle, saying that, hey, if your resupply mission tries to go into the moon, we're going to shoot it down. And so the Americans send their space shuttle to say, like, hey, if you take a shot at our resupply ship, we're going to shoot your space shuttle down.
Yeah.
And then in this episode, the Russians like, hey, if you shoot our space shuttle down, we're going to nuke fucking Texas.
Yeah, like,
so
there's so much going on in this episode.
Yeah,
like,
so you had that going on. And then also, there's supposed to be like this publicity stunt, basically, where the Russians and the Americans like linked up in low Earth orbit and like docked and like shook hands.
They were gonna shake hands, which
on
is supposed
TV.
to like show that everything's fine. Meanwhile, Joe Kinnaman is like basically thinking about bombing like this other like ship. That's
Russian.
Russian.
That's where like
you
know they were saying if the Russians shoot at our ship, we're gonna shoot their space shuttle down. So yeah, Joel Kinnaman's character is like the commander for the American space shuttle.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so fucking much. And you get to the point basically where like the air sirens go off in Houston, because like this whole show is based in Houston. Obviously,
it's down in Houston
where
NASA
the Johnson Space Center is.
Yeah.
And so like the air sirens going off because the Russian fleet is down off the coast of Panama, and they're like, hey, if anything happens up at the moon,
we're gonna nuke the shit out of like
the whole south
of
of America,
Texas, basically.
Yeah, so
but then on top of all of that, you have the nuclear reactor in the space, like, what do they call it up there? On the moon, the space moon.
Jamestown.
On Jamestown.
It's like the name of the base.
It's gonna like basically melt down because in one of the conflicts between like the Marines and the Russians, one of them shot like the nuclear reactor.
Yeah, so
and that's gonna fail, which will kill everybody and will make it uninhabitable for like 1,000 years.
Right. So the nuclear reactor is like melting down.
Yeah.
So
which brings upon the most heartbreaking part of this entire series or season finale.
Because by far, like, I think our favorite character so far in this whole show is this guy called Gordo. Who, it's a long fucking story over, like, both seasons, but he's just, like, this kind of downtrodden dude who, like, his hot ass wife has left him for...
Very, very good looking.
Like, this millionaire dude, and, you know...
But somebody just said it was, they fell in love and got married and got divorced, and then Gordo started jogging again, and Tracy remembered how much she liked to be a pilot. Like...
Pretty much.
That's like right there. But
yeah.
like Gordo is just like this really funny kind of like, not bumbling, but like just kind of weird dude that had a really hardcore arc in the first season.
Right. He basically lost his fucking mind on the moon.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and there was a whole bunch of shenanigans that had to happen to like get him back to Earth.
Because he was one of the first that was like that set up Jamestown.
Yeah, he was like the original part of the original crew with Ed Baldwin, who's played by Joel Kinnaman, and Danny, who's I don't know the actress's name, but
I'll look it up while you talk.
Yeah, but like in the first season, they got stuck there because they kept having problems like getting rockets up to them or something, and so he goes fucking crazy, and they have to like Danny fakes an injury.
Who's played by Chris Marshall, Krys.
Yeah, so she fakes like an arm, like breaking her arm. Well, she doesn't fake it. She breaks her fucking arm.
Breaks her arm.
She breaks her arm on purpose to like get Gordo back to Earth because he's like about to fucking kill himself.
Because if he has to go back and they like do like a mental something or other.
Well, if they have to do like an emergency evac of Jamestown because Gordo's having like a mental breakdown, he's just gonna be like
grounded forever.
He's gonna be grounded forever. He's gonna be kicked out of the program.
Yeah. Like it'd be catastrophic.
Yeah,
if that
and
happened.
they both knew that this is like a really like specific like. Of course, you're gonna go crazy if you're like living in a 50 square foot, capsule.
Literally, with only 2 other people on the moon
for months and months and months.
Which, side note, Danny is the character who's supposed to be doing the handshake with the Russians on the docking.
Yes.
So like, she's still in the show, and she's very much integral, and she's the one that like basically tells NASA to fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, she fucking pretty much like saved.
She saved the world because what she does is like she's like, no, we're docking, like we're gonna do it, we're just gonna go for it,
because like basically the Russians didn't want to do it just because like
it gave them a win almost.
Yeah, they don't want to like give the Americans a win or whatever. And Danny radios over to like the Russian spacecraft and they're like, you guys just want to fucking do it?
Like, let's go, let's do it. Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it's like fuck them, let's just do it.
But back to the whole Gordo Tracy thing.
Anyways, yeah, so Gordo is like by far. I don't know. We love Gordo.
Gordo's great.
And Gordo actually goes to Jamestown. Well, Ed Baldwin sends him to Jamestown because he thinks it's going to like get him out of his funk, which it does. But right before he launches to go to Jamestown, he's like, you know what? I'm going to get my fucking wife back. I'm gonna win Tracy back on the moon.
Because Tracy's also on the moon.
Yeah, she went up like a month before. He even goes as far to like goes to Tracy's new husband's house, who's a fucking like, I'm pretty sure in today's age he'd be a billionaire.
Yeah,
he's like this uber rich dude. He goes to this guy's house and he's like, hey, I'm gonna go to the moon. I'm gonna take your wife.
Take your wife, my ex-wife.
I'm gonna win her back. And he does. He goes to the moon and wins her back.
Yeah.
So
which leads to this part where they get stuck in the gully where I don't know where the hell they're supposed to be. The galley.
It's the kitchen.
So, they're in the kitchen and they're stuck there because whatever. The Russians have like taken over this part of it.
Right. And I don't know how much you saw this, but like Tracy for months when she was up there by herself, she'd go into the galley and like lock herself in and smoke.
Oh, smoke. Yeah, I did see that.
And
then had like a vacuum thing that would like suck out the smoke.
Yeah, and then Gordo started doing it with her, and that's what they were doing. I'm pretty sure when they got like stuck in there.
Oh, balls.
Yeah, because like the capsule outside of the galley got depressurized, so they couldn't like get out.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Anyways, that leads to they are stuck in there. They shoot the like nuclear reactor. The Russians do.
Gordo figures out a way to like contact Houston.
Yeah.
And finally tells them, like, hey, we're like, we've been like assaulted down here.
And like they basically say like if you don't get outside and like fix this nuclear reactor, you're all dead. You're all screwed.
Yeah, they pretty much said like if someone doesn't get to the reactor and like, and Gordo puts it perfectly. He's like, you're talking about hot wiring a nuclear reactor, right?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. So like if someone doesn't get to the reactor in 45 minutes, it's gonna melt down and everyone's gonna die.
So and they basically are like, well, we don't have any suits, and they're like, but do you have duct tape?
Well, back up a minute. They basically the only way to get to the nuclear reactor was to go out on the surface of the moon to the little like computer control panel on the outside of the base, and they don't have any suits, and it's going to take them at least like apparently you have about 15 seconds in like the vacuum of space before you just pass the fuck out.
Well, before you pass out, your like blood vessels are just like bursting,
right?
And like the 240-degree heat like kills you. So
yeah, it's more
what they do to like stop that is they're like, you need to duct tape every portion of your body,
right,
and like cover it up, and you might stand a chance. And it's like, okay, like I don't think this is gonna work at all. And the second that they jump out of like the space station thing, it's like, this is not.
Yeah, as soon as
There's
like
no way.
they jump out and then like they cut in close to their faces, and both of them like the looks on their face just perfectly conveys, oh, we fucked up.
We fucked this up. There's no way.
We're gonna die.
They run over there and they get the thing, and they're like running back, and the music is just like, it's quiet, and and that's the thing about like. I think that's something that we've started to realize more of. Like, if you have the right type of music, like, it sets the mood or it sets that moment so well. And what they did here was, like, they just kind of went with, like, quiet classical music and had them, like, running in slow motion to the moon. But they're running towards it, they get it, and then they, like, collapse. And for a split second, when they get up and they get to the door, it's like, oh my God, are they going to survive? Like, are they going to do, like, that's that moment where we both jumped up. We're like, they freaking survived.
Because they fix the nuclear reactor and then they turn, and it's like 17 seconds at this point. They've been out on the surface, and they turn and it looks like they get it, and they both collapse. Like Gordo collapses, and then Tracy's able to drag him like a few feet, and then they both collapse, and we're like, oh fuck, they're dead. And then like there's a shot from inside the base looking out with the door open, and we're like, oh, that's over. And then miraculously, they come through the door and are able to seal it, and we're like, holy fuck, they did it, and they got back, like, they're gonna be okay.
Yeah, then it cuts for a while away from them, and it like all the conflict stops, and then they like the rest of the team finds them like holding them arm in arm, and it was just like, they're you sons of bitches.
They did not make it, and
dude,
they were
it's been a while since like we've watched something where like a character death has hit me that hard, or like it's obvious like how emotional that scene really is. And they just did it so well.
They did that whole like the whole last 20 minutes was so like cleverly crafted, right? You know, you had Ed Joel Kinnaman make the decision to, instead of shooting down the Russian space shuttle, he shot down his own resupply shuttle, and that way they could be like, you know, no one did anything, right?
Yeah.
So
and they pass it off as like the load had like a computer malfunction, which is strange because it's never had a malfunction.
It's never happened, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
and so like that didn't cause the Russians to like nuke America, and then the docking of the Soyuz and the Apollo capsule led Reagan to be like, you know what, I'm gonna fly to Moscow and like reach out my hand in peace to the Russians, and then this causes like, you know, this big like kind of like cooling, or I guess warming up of relations between the Americans and the Soviets. So like
falling out of relations,
right? And so like it just was so perfectly crafted to like, it was so sad that like Tracy and Gordo were dead, and I think who else died?
One of the Marines guys died.
That's right, one of the Marines died.
He was like shot like
on
right
the base. But like you had that like tragedy coupled with like this such uplifting like results of, you know, and that's like what the space program was like kind of supposed to be. Like it unites like humanity together.
It's not supposed to lead to Houston getting nuked off the map. It's supposed to bring, you know, countries together in this pursuit of space travel.
It was so greatly like equal parts tragedy, like the highest of high conflicts, and then ultimately like
when those air sirens started to go off, it was just like, oh, fuck. It was like, oh my god, like are they gonna actually like nuke Houston?
Well, especially when they started panning around like inside buildings, looking out windows and whatnot. I was like, they're gonna fucking nuke Houston. I swear to God, I thought
that would have been wild if they had done that.
Because like in any movie, you know, like whenever there's a nuke that goes off in a movie, it's generally like you're inside a building and it's like looking near a window and you see like a huge white flash, and that's how you know like a nuke went off.
And you see like the not the umbrella, but like
the shockwave.
Yeah, the shockwaves coming at the building, and it just like gets wiped out.
Right.
No, like I thought that was super cool.
Especially, and also seeing like they're in I guess Capcom or whatever, like they're in that room that they always show at Johnson Space Center, and like the sirens go off, and the director of JSC gets off and is like, "Hey, if anyone wants to go to like the bomb shelters behind Building 33."
And one dude
was like, "I'm out of here."
I'm out.
But
Fuck
everyone
this.
else was like, "Fuck that!" Like
one white guy was just like, "Yeah, it's not worth it. I gotta get out of here." Like,
yeah, but
that
everyone
scene
else was like,
so
"No,
funny
let's
to
fucking
me,
do
dude.
this. We gotta." And this was the same time as they were trying to like instruct Tracy and Gordo to like how to get to the nuclear reactor and switch it out.
I love this, dude. This show's so good. But like, all of that said, like this finale is one of the greatest. Like, just it's a great finale. But finales are these days more of a way to cliffhang what's going to happen in season 3, and this has one of the better cliffhangers I've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the cliffhanger alone got me hooked for the rest of the show. Like, I'm gonna watch season 3 no matter what now, because like this cliffhanger freaking slaps. Like, it is so good,
and it's really cool because like they've teased it throughout the entire like season. It keeps, because Ellen, the I don't know, she's another director or something, but like her whole thing is she really wants to get to Mars, right?
Yeah.
And so they've been teasing it the whole time. Like, the next step was to like send people to Mars,
and that's what exactly happens. And they set it up in this way where you pan out of Earth and then you kind of go to the moon, and it's like, oh, okay, like that's what they're going to end with, just like this kind of close up of the moon, and then it kind of goes to the other side of the moon, and it keeps going, and you're like, what's about to happen here? Like, what are they going to do? And they zoom in on Mars, and all of a sudden it pops, and they get into like the surface of Mars, and I think it pops up in the middle of the screen like 1994. 95,
yeah.
And then you see the boot on Mars, and it's like,
oh
my god, and it just cuts to black. Like, what?
It's
like,
so sick.
And that's the cool thing about this type of show, because it is set in this universe where they have really gone after global space, like the space race. Like, you don't ever have to really kind of say like, oh, this is why getting to Mars is possible. It's just like, yeah, they're going to go to Mars. Like, Mars is a possibility because they continually were trying to further space, the space program, and that makes this type of thing just super exciting to see where they go with it in the next season and the season after that. Yeah. So, do you want to give a rating for this season of For All Mankind, Ryan?
Dude, it'd be like 4.75 out of 5.
Okay, perfect. So that's what Ryan gave.
Yeah, the entire season. It was fucking so dope,
It's so freaking awesome. But Ryan, do you want to talk now? Do you want to take some questions real fast, or do you just want to jump?
We don't have any questions, so
okay.
We just say hola to Vinny.
Okay, what's up, Vinny? Ryan, do you want to jump into Falcon first or Mortal Kombat first? I'll give you the choice. Pick your character.
Let's do Falcon the Winter Soldier first.
Sounds good to me. Ryan, the last episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier premiered yesterday on Disney Plus, and balls, yeah, it was great. This one was titled, I don't remember which this one was titled. Crap.
Oh, shit.
Power, I think it was called.
No.
One World, One People. Makes more sense.
That's right, yeah.
This one was called One World, One People. And again, spoilers for if you have not seen this, but everybody's posting it on Twitter, so it's not that much of a spoiler. Not even 3 to 4 minutes into the episode, we get the new Captain America, and that suit, oh my god.
Very nice.
Is insane. I love that suit.
Yeah. I mean, the suit was amazing. I was like slightly disappointed that it wasn't like basically the Captain America colors overlaid on the Black Panther suit, because that's like kind of what I thought they were like teeing up with. This was built by the Wakandans, right? But
supposedly the wings are vibranium.
Yeah,
which is how like a helicopter could bounce off it.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But anyways, no, it was very, very dope.
I loved this costume.
Very original too. It's not like
Yeah.
they kind of slightly altered any previous Captain America suit. This is like a combination of like all previous Captain America suits. Yeah.
With the wings. And like this is almost to a T the Captain America suit that Sam Wilson wore in the comics. So like they did a great job of adapting that suit. It's so clean, dude. Like I cannot say how much I love that suit that they gave him. And they had him fight Batroc almost immediately.
Yep.
You've got, the Flag Smashers trying to steal all the GRC people.
Take them hostage.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of this episode?
I don't know. It was either the part where some of the GRC people were on the helicopter.
Dude, that's a great scene too.
And yeah. So like they're on the helicopter, and I mean, I would have to like if I watched this episode and with a piece of paper and like wrote down all the fucking plot holes and all like just the shit that doesn't make sense. Like it'd be a long list.
Yeah.
And this is like near the top of it. Somehow he like is able to communicate with one of the GRC ladies in the helicopter.
Yeah, she has like an earpiece or something, and he somehow like hacks into it, and like
Yeah, somehow he's able to like communicate with her. He's like, "Hey, put your headphones in," and then, but anyways, he's like, "Hey, I heard you can fly a helicopter," and this helicopter has been like hijacked by one of the Flag Smashers.
Yeah.
And so Sam is like, "Hey, I'm gonna take out the pilot, and on the exact mark, you're gonna need to jump in and like take control of the helicopter."
Mm-hmm.
So, fucking Sam just like flies full speed through the passenger door of the helicopter.
Well, he like throws the shield at the door, cracks the door, then flies like through it.
Yeah, I guess he throws the shield through, like flies through the fucking helicopter, grabs the guy, flies out. And then the lady has to like jump from the back, take control of the helicopter, and then
it's a wild scene.
Oh, it's crazy.
But the part that is great about that scene, that illustrates the action that can now come from this Captain America, from Sam Wilson being Captain America. Like you have now aerial battles that are like possible. There's so much that could be done with that makes it really
it's like
exciting.
A crazy mix of Iron Man and Captain America.
Yeah,
really.
So like that part of it is so freaking cool.
But my close second, very, very close second, was towards the end of it where Sam has saved the day, and then he's really given the like senators and all the other GRC people
business, man.
Like a speech for the ages.
Like, and it's all about are you guys going to go ahead with the vote to redraw the border lines for countries? And they're like, yeah, the terrorists are, they're not going to, terrorists aren't going to win. It's like, well, wait a second. Like, why are you guys not thinking about why they went to these lengths? Like, why are you not even thinking about why a teenager would give her life for this fight? And he says it obviously way better than I am, but like that scene is so emotional and so kind of poignant, and I hope there's not like a huge faction of people that are going to be like, that's just like woke shit in a like Marvel movie or something, but it's like the message is true and it's great, and Anthony Mackie shows the what he can do really well, and that scene is a great like encapsulation of what he can do as an actor. So I'm excited for that for the future, and I'm excited for him for the future, because if more people can get him that type of writing and that type of like that type of script, dude, he's gonna kill it in a movie at some point. Like, I don't think he's gotten that type of writing yet. He's doing action movies and he's doing some of this other stuff. And again, we've said it before, like if that's what he wants to do, like that's totally fine. But like if somebody can get him that emotional type of script, dude, he's gonna knock it out of the freaking park.
Yeah.
Like,
it sort of reminded me, like not near the same quality, but it was pretty similar to some of the like speeches in The Dark Knight, right? Like where Bruce is having to like explain why the people of Gotham are like worth saving, and like why they need a hero, and why, you know, they should let their like savior of Harvey Dent not be solely like I mean, very different like context and different kind of reasoning behind it and whatnot, but the same like depth of like feeling and like sincerity behind it, you know. And
it's I've seen people say that it was like too hastily kind of like brought together, or like there was a lot of closure, but it happened so fast. And for me, it's more of they wrapped up a lot of storylines really, really well. Like the whole Isaiah Bradley storyline, it was kind of like, where is this going? But what Sam kind of learned from him and how he was handled, or how he went through being the first Black Captain America, and now Sam is basically saying like, no, like I'm gonna still fight for this country. And then Isaiah seeing that and basically being like, oh wow, like okay, this is a good guy, like he's gonna go out and do what is right. And then the whole Isaiah Bradley thing where he now is being recognized for what he did in the museum, like that whole scene killed. Like we were both tearing up in that scene because it's so powerful, and people like, that's all that he wanted. He just wanted to be recognized for what he did. He didn't care about earning a lot of money. He didn't care about like any of the other stuff. He just wanted the country that he fought for to recognize what he had done.
Right.
And to have that happen was everything that he had wanted for decades at this point. So that was a really, really emotional scene to see. Yeah,
and we like, you know, when we talked about it, I guess last episode or the episode, or when we talked about the last episode or maybe the episode before, like I had said that, you know, if they were gonna have Isaiah Bradley go down the road of like putting black versus white like against each other, and him saying like, oh well, this country's fucked me, and like fuck them all, like they don't deserve anything you do, Sam. Like I said, you know, if the show and the writers go down that route, like it's gonna be really, really hard to like land that plane in a like positive manner. I think they did it, like they knocked it out of the fucking ballpark.
Perfected it.
It was amazing how they like the way that through Sam's actions, not only was he able to like convince the general public and the Global Resettlement Council,
repatriation,
whatever, the GRC people, and he convinced Isaiah, like he convinced everybody that, you know, like he just like convinced everyone of everything. Like I don't know how else to put it, right? He like convinced the public that he can be Captain America.
Yeah.
He convinced the GRC people that, you know,
that there's a better way to go about like redrawing the borders, and
there's a better way to like move forward in this crazy ass world where people got snapped out of existence and then came back.
Which that is like have everybody in the room. Like that was the message for the GRC, was like the people that you were affecting, are they in the room to make this decision?
And then he convinced Isaiah Bradley that, you know, this country is worth fighting for, and even though like the country has had a very poor record or horrendous record in how it's treated like its minority populations, it's still a country that I want to fight for.
We can do better.
We can do better, and no one is going to be able to meet us halfway if we don't go halfway ourselves, right? Yeah. Which is like exactly what he tells Isaiah. He's like, you know, no one's going to shake our hand halfway if we don't like make the effort and put in the work also. And it's just beautiful. It was a really, really beautiful episode. Well done. And dude, like that was so well done, and all the actions. This is just classic fucking Marvel perfection.
Like, and that's like the kind of thing. I've got two hot takes that I want to say. One for sure. I don't remember the other one right now, but the last thing, like I think there is kind of a problem with putting them out week by week, because like now that we have the whole picture, it's like, okay, this was great. Like this whole series was really good. Yeah. And this almost had the opposite problem than that WandaVision had, where WandaVision obviously started out really well, and then it kind of just tapered off. This had the opposite, where it was like, it didn't start out great, but as it went on and you got more of like the overall story, it was like, holy shit, this is good. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if like releasing it weekly would have any impact, because like people are gonna, even if it gets released all at once, like people are gonna watch the first 3 episodes and be like, this is kind of nah.
Yeah, but I think legitimately, I think people would have like watched all 6 like super back to back, and it would have been more of this like, it would not have been week by week reaction. It would have been like, oh, as a whole, what is the reaction to this show, and what are the thoughts on this show? And so, you know, I think there's something to be said about that. But like, Marvel's killing it, so I should not question what the hell they're doing at all. Yeah, there is also a reveal of who Sharon Carter is. She was, spoilers, the power broker.
Yeah.
And this is where my hot take comes in. We now have had a couple in WandaVision. I think like 2 episodes had mid-credit and credit scenes. But the ones that like stick out to me was the very last episode, and now we have another mid-credit scene here at the end of this episode. The mid-credit scenes are not as good as they used to be. Like, they are not as groundbreaking or like huge as they used to be. And it obviously, like, the biggest one was the one in Iron Man where Nick Fury popped out and was like, I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative, and then Thanos in Avengers. So like,
there was also Thor's hammer in one of the Iron Men, right?
Yeah, I think that was 2.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Because that was the most memorable one for me, where like they just have a fucking whole like agent thing set up, and it's just because Thor's hammer has like landed in some fucking field. I
think it was in like Arizona or something.
Yeah.
But like with this one, the mid-credit scene is basically Sharon Carter being pardoned and then given her job back at the CIA, and she's like, well, and almost in a way where it's like, we're gonna do evil now. She's like calling somebody on a phone and basically being like set up all the sales, like we're now gonna have like,
I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool, because it's like somehow she was able to like weasel her way back into the good graces of the American government, and she's still going to be
a bad guy,
conniving bullshit on the side. Like, that's pretty.
It's interesting, but like when and this is probably like setting my expectations, or like everybody having their expectations way too high, but like you're expecting something to be set up for like whatever the next movies are, or like whatever is in the future of the MCU. So it's like we're all kind of like, even though we just had the Shang-Chi like trailer, like we're starved for like looks at whatever the next thing's gonna be. So it's like, just give us that shit. But like in reality, these weren't supposed to be like the first 2 things in the MCU in the Phase 4. Like that was supposed to be Black Widow and like I think Shang-Chi, and then like a couple of these shows. Like, yeah, it's probably like the mid-credit scenes right for these weren't supposed to be big anyways. Like the big mid-credit scenes are going to be in the actual movies.
Right.
So I don't know. It's a thought that I had that like the mid-credit scenes have just not been as good as they used to be.
Yeah,
so I'm very interested to see how that kind of like plays out.
I would definitely agree with like WandaVision's, especially the one in WandaVision where it just shows Wanda like, you know, doing
the astral thing,
the astral projection deal. Like okay, sure. Like we know that's like somehow connected to Doctor Strange and the multiverse thing, but
no. So it's just like that type of thing where I was like that's interesting that they're going that route.
But yeah, I think that's way more a product of, you know, like these shows were shot probably 2 years ago, and like they really didn't have a huge idea of how popular these are going to be on. Because like ideally they would have an end credit scene that would have set up like the next season
of the show
of this of what's going to be now Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Which that's the other news.
Like Disney Plus, they didn't really know like how this was going to go, how popular it was going to be, the whole
they had no idea. But like I don't even think they're going to do another season of this. Like if they announced that there's going to be Captain America 4, so it's like he's going to go do his own show. Maybe they do like another season where it's like Captain America and the Winter Soldier, but like that feels like a lot. So I don't know what their plans are, if they're going to do another season or not. What would you give the whole season, the whole series maybe, of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Probably like a 3.75.
Okay.
Pushing it though, like maybe close to 3.5.
I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5. I really like this.
I'd give it 3.75.
This season finale really, or season, whatever. The finale like really kind of saved it for me. Like I really enjoyed the hell out of that.
For me too. There were definitely episodes in the season where I was like, hey, this is. If I had to rate this, it'd be like a 2. Yeah, 2.5. So
there was a lot of moments where it was like, this is not going well, guys. But like I think they really stuck the landing with this, and I'm excited to see Captain America in the MCU moving forward, and I'm excited to see Sam Wilson as Captain America moving forward.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool.
So, but yeah, check it out. All 6 episodes are now available on Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. You can check that out. Loki starts in June, so we will definitely be
June 11th, maybe.
Yeah,
but
we'll be talking about that when it comes out. Are there any questions?
Yeah, so Vinny so you guys think this sets up a Captain America 4? It definitely does.
Yeah, they announced it yesterday that the writer and showrunner of the series is going to be writing a Captain America 4. Yeah. So we will have that coming soon.
And then lastly, who would have thought Sharon Carter would turn out like that? Hey, like the last time we saw Sharon Carter like in a movie, not me, not in a fucking second did I think she was going to be in Madripoor, being the power broker and being like this evil underworld boss somehow. So that's
I don't truly like, and that's maybe this is just being stupid, but like I don't believe that they're gonna like have her be that way forever. Like my gut feeling is like this is a misdirection as well. Like
I think there's like 3 options here, right? Like either this is like definitely who she is now, and like this is the direction they're going with the character. B, she's a Skrull.
Yeah.
Or C, like this is somehow a misdirection in another facet.
I just have a feeling that she's not really the power broker, and like, but maybe she is. Like I
think she is. I think they were like, we just kind of have this bland sword agent who shield agent who got snapped in and out of existence. Like, we just gonna have the same shit. She's just gonna like be this kind of never changing character.
It is an interesting direction to go with the character if that's what they're gonna do. But I like I said, I just have a feeling that that's not really like where she's gonna end up. So like we'll see.
All right, last question before we move on. What do we think they're going to do with Baron Zemo? I have no fucking clue.
He's going to be the leader of the Thunderbolts.
I hope so.
I think that's where they're going with this.
How does he get out of Wakanda?
What do you mean? He's on the raft.
The fuck's the raft?
The raft is that prison in the middle of the ocean.
Okay, well, how? Okay, excuse me. How is he going to get out of the Wakanda raft prison then?
Who do you know who runs the raft?
No.
Thunderbolt Ross.
So he's just going to be like, oh, I put you in my prison, now I'm going to have you work for me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's how the Thunderbolts works. It's just like the Suicide Squad, where it's like, you guys have been put in prison. Like, we want you to, come and basically, like, do this, and you'll get a couple years off your sentence. Come on.
Who plagiarized who on that one?
God only knows. I'd have to do more research into it, but I have no idea. Because you have like the Thunderbolts.
Fucking dumb concept. I mean, maybe just because the original Suicide Squad is so bad.
Well, yeah, you don't. You just have to you have to basically like remove that from your head because it's like that's not that like style and the way that they did it is not how it used to be. Like in the comics, it's not comical like that. Like it's just a completely different style. But
I mean, they're gonna fucking do it again.
Yeah, but like in Marvel, you not only have like the Thunderbolts, you have like the Dark Avengers. Which is basically the same concept. So yeah, I'm excited to see like what they do. But he's gonna be there. Like I bet John Walker will be either a Thunderbolt / Dark Avenger, and Taskmaster will be a Thunderbolt / Dark Avenger. Okay. So they're setting up that team for sure.
What, like 40 or something?
Huh?
Taskmaster and Black Widow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's in the 90s.
Oh, you're saying he'd be 40 when?
Yeah, if they did it like in present day.
Yeah, he'd be 40. Yeah, he could do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Combat?
Mortal Kombat!
Dun, 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 dun.
This came out yesterday on HBO Max and in theaters. Directed by Simon McQuoid. I think that's how you say his last name. The classic video game that had a couple of different adaptations has a new one. Mm-hmm. And this one was super gory. Ryan, where do you want to start with Mortal Kombat?
I was going to say, I fucking love this movie.
Yeah. This is just a love fest today. Like
everything. This is something you love so much, you're about to go see it again tonight.
I am. I am going to go see it again tonight, and I am very excited. This, like, just absolutely killed. Does it have some, like, very loose plot holes and some wooden acting, some not great acting at times? Hell yeah. But, like, that's not what you're there for.
No. I want to actually ask you something, because I'm not sure if I'm just being silly about this or this is actually, like, has some truth to it. But just because, like, we hadn't seen anything in theaters for, say, 10, 11 months or something, more or less. Sure, we saw, like, some really shitty movies last year, and we saw Wonder Woman. But, like, do you think there's anything to, like, we loved Godzilla so much, we loved Mortal Kombat so much, is because, like, these were the first two movies that were, like, fucking larger than life on the big screen and brand new?
Probably, because there has to be something to, you know, focusing in on everything that is happening in that movie. Because, like, when we're at home, it's inevitable that, like, you pull your phone out and you're not, like, fully paying attention.
I caught myself. You were on the phone, like, outside the theater, but during the first trailer, when it was the Quiet Place Part 2 trailer, right? About halfway through that trailer, like, there was a couple of things. I felt like I was on the fucking movie ride at MGM Studios in Disney. I caught myself and I was like, I am so fucking happy to be in this, like, huge goddamn XD theater. I love this so much.
I love everything that is happening right now.
Yeah, and I was like, am I just, like, caught up in the romance and, like, glamour of the big screen right now? That's why, like, we're loving everything. I think it's, like, has a little bit to do with that.
I think it's a little bit to do with that, but I think...
Because what we saw Wonder Woman, and, like, that we both were unanimously like, oh my god, that fucking sucked.
This freaking movie.
But I think I think Godzilla and this were just, like, actually really, really well done. And...
This, like, and the thing, it's about both of these movies. Like, you go into these movies expecting, like, only a handful of things, and you kind of toss away, like, all the other stuff. And it's like, okay, if you deliver on these things, it's going to go really well, and you're going to do a great job. With Godzilla vs. Kong, I just want to see a couple monsters beat the crap out of each other and have some wild fights in the middle of the city. We got that.
Right.
With Mortal Kombat, I want to see some great fight sequences that do not look like they're heavily CGI'd or just heavily, like, cut together. I want to see seamless, great fight scenes with a lot of blood and a lot of gore and some crazy, like, finishers, and that's what we got in this. Like,
yes,
they, like, when you watch some of the interviews with the director, like, he talks about that. Like, we wanted to do a really good action movie, and they did. Like, they killed it.
Well, it really, you know, shows it's a testament to the fact that basically all the characters were stunt actors. Like, they didn't get a bunch of actors of, like, big name actors and then try to, like, teach them all the stunts and all of the
choreography almost.
Choreography and, god damn it, mortal
fatalities?
no, fuck me. Like, what are combat sports? They're martial arts.
Martial arts.
Teach a bunch of actors like martial arts. You had stunt people.
Yeah.
Who like were fucking amazing. Like
they could do the stunts. Like they could do everything that was required of them, other than like throwing daggers at each other. But like
right. So the action and the choreography and all the fight scenes were like fucking amazing. But the story is actually super cool too, where the opening scene is in like 1600s Japan.
Yes.
And Sub-Zero has come to kill Scorpion. They're not at all those characters yet. They're just like two warring factions in like, feudal Japan. And Sub-Zero kills Scorpion, but Scorpion somehow saves one of his children, and that lineage eventually leads to the character Cole Young.
Yeah. Who's not in the video games at all. Like, he was created for this movie, which I was kind of worried that that character would kind of take away from things, but he really doesn't. Like, not at all. And so his acting is not great half the time, but like his fight scenes are freaking sick.
Yeah. Especially when he gets his suit.
Yeah.
Like when he gets his, what do they call it?
A con or something.
A con. There's
con.
Basically, if you have the mark of Mortal Kombat, it means you're destined or you've been chosen to fight for the Earth Realm. And since he was of lineage from Scorpion, he had the mark. Mm-hmm. And when you get the mark, you have to learn what your superpower is, basically.
Yeah.
Right? And so
Kano finds out that he can shoot a laser out of his eye.
Out of his fucking eye, yeah. Sonya Blade, what did she have? Oh, she had fucking
she had not lasers, but
that was one of the biggest plot holes in the fucking movie.
She had energy beams out of her arms.
All the other characters, it took them a long time to figure out what their superpower was. And then fucking Sonya Blade, she gets chosen.
First off, she spoilers, she kills Kano with a garden gnome that he spat on.
Right, and
then shows back up.
And the thing is, if you kill someone with the mark transfers to you.
Yeah.
And so she gets transferred the mark, and literally within I'd say 10 minutes, somehow she's learned what her superpower is.
Yeah, she already knows what her superpower is.
And she's shooting fucking lasers out of her arms.
Yeah, so that was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was very...
No,
which none of the plot holes and none of the acting, it never was never did it take away from the story or anything, and never did I say holy shit, this
that's
makes
too
it
much.
yeah, this takes away from the movie.
No, it's super cool that is what happened in this, but the moment where Kung Lao, he does a move from MK11 where he throws his hat on the ground and it's spinning. Yeah. And he throws the dragon chick into it. I looked because I knew it was coming. I looked over at you and he threw her and she went through it. Dude, your mouth just went ugh. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, that was worth it. That was so worth seeing this movie just right there.
Yeah, well, because the moment it happened, well, I don't want to. Yeah, it was just I knew I'd seen that in the trailer or I had seen that somewhere, but in the context of the place in the fight. It was holy shit,
yeah,
he's just gonna pull that out of his ass and
yeah, dude, I could not speak highly enough about this movie.
Then they fucking major spoilers.
Yeah, major.
That was my one gripe with this movie. My favorite character, Kung Lao, gets fucking soul sucked.
Yes.
He gets Death Eatered about halfway through the movie.
He gets soul sucked out of this movie. And here's the thing, a couple characters get killed. He gets killed, Kano gets killed.
Yeah.
Goro gets killed. As far as in major spoilers, Sub-Zero gets killed. I'm interested to see if those characters just get brought back, they just reappear somehow, almost like a video game where it's just they get brought back in a weird way. I don't know,
maybe. I mean, the guy did say, who's the
director?
No, the black guy motherfucker who's led the Outer Realm people.
Oh, Shang Tsung?
Yeah, he said death's not whatever, it's just something that transfer.
Can be reversed almost.
Yeah, so maybe they come back.
I would hope so, because I want Kano in there, because he's by far the funniest part of this movie.
Yeah,
he steals hilarious. Almost every scene that he is in. and like who else was there? Goro is a really big character in the games, and Kung Lao. Like Kung Lao is the biggest one by far. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where they go with all of those characters. But I think this movie, it's way better than the '90s movies.
Yeah.
It has all the action that you want. And the interesting thing is, there's really no Mortal Kombat in here. Like, there's no real tournament.
There's no, this is all like prequel.
Yeah.
To a real Mortal Kombat movie.
And so I think like that, all that setup works really well with the idea that there's going to be more. And from what I'm hearing, like, or what I'm seeing, the box offices are doing well. Mm-hmm. So and this movie only cost them $50 million.
Really?
Yeah. So like,
and the theater was like pretty packed.
Pretty packed. So
it had to be like really, really close to full capacity with all the like empty seating they had to do.
Yeah. So my thought is like, there's going to be more of these, and they're going to like.
They're definitely going to get to the tournament.
Yeah, they have like.
That tournament's going to fucking slap. Because if this was just
so cool.
It's just the appetizer to like real Mortal Kombat. Holy shit, dude.
So like, I think with that idea behind it, I think this was a great setup for what the Mortal Kombat tournament could look like, and so I'm really excited to see like where they go with this franchise. So what would you give this movie, Ryan, out of 5 max Jindo head ratings?
4.5.
4.5. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I fucking love this movie, dude.
I was gonna say 4.25 because I love the shit out of this movie. Like they took something that has been around for so long that like they have not gotten right. Mm-hmm. And like that series that did it in the early 2010s, like they got it right. So it was just amount of time before they could get it right in a movie theater. Yeah. And they did here. And it's so much freaking fun.
Sick.
Yeah. Well, Ryan!
Let's, we have a couple questions about Mortal Kombat real fast.
Okay.
Yeah, he just asked about, if we think there's going to be a sequel.
Oh, there's going to be for sure.
Like, so, yeah, I mean, both questions, like, there's for sure going to be a sequel, and for sure we're going to see Johnny Cage. Because,
yes, dude.
Again, major spoilers, but, like, they put in, basically, like, their version of an end credit scene was very last scene of the movie was them panning to, like, a poster of Johnny Cage, and Cole Young is like, "Oh, I'm not fighting here anymore. I'm going to Hollywood."
Well, yeah, because like the gym guy like says like, "Hey, I've got another fight for you," and he's like, "I'm done fighting for $200." He's like, "Oh, where are you gonna go?" And as soon as he said, "I'm going to Hollywood," I was like, "Oh my god, they're gonna get freaking Johnny Cage into this movie! Like, let's freaking go!" And then it pans over the poster, and I was like, "Yes, like let's go!" So I cannot wait.
To be sick.
I'm going to be really interested to see who they get to play Johnny Cage.
I really hope they go the same route as, like, everyone else. It's just another...
stunt actor.
Yeah.
I'd be so happy with that.
I mean, for being all, like, stunt actors, they did a damn good job.
No, they did an amazing job. So I could not talk more highly about this movie. I cannot talk more highly about it. Except for with my wallet, which means I am going to go see it again.
Spend another $14 or something?
Yeah. Jesus.
Okay, last one. What are we hyped for the rest of the year, movie-wise?
Space Jam.
Dude, no. He's kidding. Definitely The Eternals.
Yeah.
For sure. That's, like, top of my list.
We did our hype thing last time. Hype levels.
Yeah.
Out of 10.
Yeah, that's true. So, Eternals, Dune.
Yeah. Black Widow.
Black Widow, obviously.
Shang-Chi.
Sure.
I'm super excited for
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi? What else would there be?
That little terrorist movie, that Catfish for a Terrorist
that looked nuts. Profile or something?
Yeah, that comes out like next month.
Wild. Yeah, so we're definitely going to talk about that.
That's about it.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man, obviously.
Pretty much like all Marvel.
All Marvel movies.
All Marvel movies.
I'm not really looking forward to any of the DC shit coming out this year.
What else is coming out? Oh, they have Suicide Squad coming out. Well, I mean, we're gonna go see it, so we're watching it, Ryan. Matrix 4.
Not really.
I'm gonna hype it. I'll watch it. We'll but yeah, so that's what we're getting ready for this year. Everybody, thank you so much. We are gonna be back tomorrow. Actually, if you're listening to this on Sunday, that means it's Oscar Day, which means I am going to be drinking champagne, and we're going to be watching the Oscars. So come join us. Come hang out with us. We will be on YouTube live streaming our reactions as we watch it in real time. So come hang out with us tomorrow on the 25th. But everybody have a good rest of your weekend, and we will see you tomorrow.
Adios, amigos.